Hello. Now then, about 3 weeks ago, possibly a little bit more, I put a video on regarding sickle comparisons. And what I've done, I said at the end of that video that I would go up in the field somewhere and compare them for cutting or whatever and see how they work. And I've done that about a week ago, and finally I better put it on for you because I did promise I would. So so that's it. Now then, I'll take you down to these three sickles, and we'll have a quick chat to see, and there's an introduction to the video, and I'll put the two together, my little introduction and the video of the comparisons. Okay, so here we go, down there, whoa, that's it. And here's the three sickles, and I done them in that order. That one was first, a comparison cutting in the field on some grass. That one was the second one, and that was the third. And this first one, as I say, I had this, so I've had this years. I don't know where it got, I didn't buy it. I must have had it from somewhere or in a junk sale or something. And I tried it and I didn't like it. It didn't work. So I thought, right, I'll give it a good go. So I give it a good sharpening, and I don't think I over sharpened it, you know, and you usually can't over sharpen it. But what happened was that it threw. When I looked, it had thrown a big burr. It was more than a burr. It was like a flap of metal that you could bend one way and then the other. You know, a burr. We call them burr, and I took a heck of a job. I thought, well, you can't cut grass with that, with a flap on it. There's no chance. So I took it off, rubbing it till I got it all off, and I tried it. It didn't work. It vibrated or whatever. That you could tell that it was just coarse, and the grass was fighting to get away from it, and it cut very little grass. So I wasn't disappointed. I just confirmed what I knew quite some time ago. And these circles, that's steel. Now in steel, I think that steel is quite a ductile steel. In other words, it would throw a burr. It's ductile. It moves, you know, and therefore that's the reason for that. But even when I took it off, what I done, I only put a few strokes with the sharpening stone, just in the second time, so that I got it back to sharpness without throwing any burr. And I still tried it, still wouldn't work. So that's it. To me, you can buy these type of things in on eBay or whatever, or even in a hardware store, and people buy them. They're cheap. They are cheap, and that's only stamped out. And then this is just a thing to put on loan, put two rivets in, and that's it. And but as far as a useful tool, I think they're not worth having. I mean, even if you pay just a few pounds for them, I still think they're a dear buy, because you use them, they don't work. You put them in the back of the garden shed or tool room, and you don't see them again, like I did. And so that is that one. That come first on that little bit of a video that I got. After that, I tried this. This was better, but it wasn't 100%, and I can understand that, because this is a bigger sickle, and it's not made for cutting grass. It's made really for brushing hedges, as they used to do years ago, before you had these mechanical brushes. You see farmers going around with a mechanical brush. They used to do it by hand. They'd have a long one on the short pole, and they're good for that. They will cut, you know, quite thick stuff, and they will cut brambles and gorse and bracken or whatever, you know, if you got to, and for that. But as for cutting grass, they're not all that good. I did use it, and it was better than that, but not as good as this one, which is the grass sickle, and understandably so. It's a different method, and that's got a what do you call there. And this one didn't perform 100%, and as I say, because the conditions weren't ideal, and it was a bit rough, but it did do quite a bit better than these other two. And if you wanted to see this probably working at its best, I think I made a video on it's how to use a sickle using a sickle to cut grass, and this put one on about couple of months or so ago, and if you go on to there about 2 minutes into that video, you'll see that one working, and you'll see it coming off, and it's coming off the blade and it's falling over. You can see where it's cut through the grass, and yeah, and you know, and it's nice to use. What I do nowadays, because well, I'm getting on now, and your muscle mass goes, and you know, you're not as strong as you were, and in order to keep going, what I got a habit of doing is I change over, and then I'm using it like that for a while, and then when my hand, my arm got a bit, and then I can change over and I go back to that. You can see how that flows, but when you're cutting backhanded, it's sort of, it sort of, you know, gets a bit floppy, and so, you know, but that's the way, and so that worked reasonably well. So the video is in them parts, that one, and that one, and that's on for about a quarter video, and that's on for a little bit. You'll see where it changes, and then you can make your own comparison. So that's it, and we'll see what you think of it. Okay.